default, no?
Minnow.
Oh, he goes Minotaur.
Same, but different. But
Oh.
still same.
Only one game played for Renegade as that Minotaur, but that was a win. So,
Athletes,
Welcome to Mobile Legends.
5 per side to figure out if they have what it takes to force it to go to game 5 or to end it right here, right now. Ingan, I gotta ask you, man.
Yo,
Why is Aurora doing this? How are they able to draft very similar to Liquid and get away with it?
you fight fire with fire. That's their main strategy. They've swept TLPH during the regular season by doing the same strategy, which is going head-to-head. Exploiting the potential mistakes that TLPH can make and eventually just outplaying them at any given moment. But so far, you even mentioned this a while ago, whoever has the Suyu wins in this series specifically. And we'll see if TLPH can extend it towards the late game to activate Benecutie and extend the series.
Off of that single stat, just the fact that there's a Suyu for the Cavalry, I'm not so sure, but that's what the numbers dictate. But as this series goes, both teams looking to defy all logic and push forward through the brackets. Lane to lane, I can tell you now, just for now, maybe 40 can win. But later on, when the fight actually begins, I'm looking at like 5 or 6 minutes. Maybe that's when 40 has to be smart about his engagements.
Yeah. Again, it's tempting to go for those shatter onward combinations because looking at the battle spells of Aurora, there's not a single Purify. It's all flickers. And they can actually burst down whenever Sanford manages to catch someone. But again, the Renegade factor is also there. Assuming Aurora can always counterattack, especially with the Minotaur that we know is always a reactive type of role.
And for the first time in a while, same as you can say about the Minotaur, the Hylos is in roll. Look at this, turn down the
Okay, but this time Carl will get the first turtle. No response yet from Aurora. And they're going to be disciplined enough to back away and not force anything versus TLPH.
Here's but the combo of a Sever Retribution. Could have sworn Carl had 2 fingers on his screen.
2 fingers, yeah. I mean, that's the luxury of having a Suyu again. A new hero, quite imbalanced yet for many people. And so far, it has been securing a lot of
At this
objectives.
point, you're dealing like 3,000, 4,000 in one go, right? The Retribution plus the Sever.
Honestly,
that's huge.
You need the Retribution. You do, but
he did.
You have a major advantage. And Carl TC can actually use this to advantage by trying to, invade early on and prevent Ethan's guy from getting his buffs.
That's right, which is contradictory to what our analysts said, and again, even to the logic, because Aurora aren't pushing their early game to mid-game advantage as much.
Yeah.
This is the first time in this 4-game series now that the first 3 minutes are relatively peaceful.
I think it's really the Suyu factor that you have to factor in.
Right?
That Carl TZ easily activated level 3 is all you need.
And this all is to the benefit of one Alice.
Yeah.
Well, you could say the same for Doming and the... Wait, whoa!
Okay, that's why they want to go for JP this time in the Shadow Guild, forcing out the Glorious Pathway. JP's going to escape though, but at what cost? That was Glorious Pathway and Revitalize. Something JP really needs coming into the second turtle fight.
30 seconds away. As you can see from your mini-map, Doming constantly bullying Benecutie underneath his turret. He's popped the caps on, I think that's what, half on the shield popped.
Yeah. And you can actually expect this to happen again, the range from Doming with this Nathan over Benecutie that has to come in with the flowing blood.
And just faster early to mid-game damage output.
Yeah. So right now, the goal for TLPH is if Carl TZ snowballs out of control, they can end it early. But at the same time, they also have late game insurance for Benecutie's Alice to be activated later on.
But it's that mid-game that they have to worry about.
Yes.
When Aurora hits their power spike as well. Second turtle already up. The shuffle. JP not easy. JP dropping the Glorious Pathway.
Starts things off with the Glorious Pathway, making sure there's no Aurora will be able to contest for this turtle as Carl TZ again secures the turtle. So, okay, right now we can see that it's not as aggressive compared to the last 3 games, but the right Doming. The Doming instincts, though, flickers out right away out of Harp's reach.
FRF, that was an early lane swap by Aurora, sending Doming down to the XP lane to make up for lost time in those first 2 turtles. So, I don't know if the clapback's going to happen now, because Sanford spent his flicker.
So, agree that could happen. But okay, so if this is how slow the game is going for TLPH, this is what you want, right?
This is the best.
This is the best scenario that you can. Again, Aurora not utilizing their power spikes as much as possible, trying to put a lot of pressure onto Doming. Even if they don't shut down Doming, just give him enough hard time. Benny QT can eventually, you know, outplay Doming.
Worst case scenario, Doming dies. Right?
Yes.
If Carl TZ finds him, any combination of Sanji, Carl TZ, and 40 and JP. Worst case scenario, it's a TKO or the pressure's off of Benny. Right? That's it. Scenario, like just mid-ground, it's a TKO. You send Doming back home and you force DK to spend like this.
Okay, look at the JCC from Sanford. Onward, Earthshatter combination to bring down DK. And despite the statistics, Carl TZ goes in. Sanji as well with the diversion. They're going to get the purple buff. Now JP pops his glorious pathway to go for 2 more!
Lord!
A double kill from Carl TZ. Despite the early mid potential spike of Aurora, TLPH just threw that away. And they're just saying that we have the early game spike.
Hesitation is the enemy of progress. And Aurora sat on their hands for the better part of the past 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they could have done better, it's just, what were they thinking? What was the game plan? Maybe as a main 5, they weren't ready, and they were hoping that maybe Liquid wouldn't do much with this early game, because we know that they're hedging on Benny, but Benny hasn't moved, man. You see that little icon? Benny hasn't moved.
Yeah, that's the alarming thing. At this point, Carl TZ got 3 turtles, they got 3 kills, all without Benny QT. They don't need Benny so far, but Sanford needs his Earthshatter to break down even high. 0-2-0, not the strong start for this high himself. Now TLPH at this point even need to go for the late game. This early on 5-game gold lead with the lineup that you have, you can end this right away.
The late game at this point, 7 minutes in, 5K ahead, Liquid, it's not even a late game, it's just a game.
It's just a
you're
game.
just there, and you're making the most of this early game snowball that you have over Aurora, and a part of them must be wondering, like, when are they going to kick in? When are they going to decide to fight back? Because we really haven't seen Aurora do much.
Yeah, even if you don't start
This
things
is
off.
uncanny.
Just a good counter initiation from NJ might do the job, assuming that Doming doesn't get picked off or that doesn't get crowd controlled. They can actually counter attack, but again, with TLPH, with the way they're playing, it's like it's unpredictable with how they're moving.
Rather, it's alien to me. Because given the lead, what is that? Almost,
5.5.
what is that? 2,000 between? Almost? 1,000 and change between Benny and Doming.
Oh,
I think Benny's just gonna rush the Holy Crystal because of how little threat is on him.
yeah, he does. Aurora hasn't been paying much attention to Benny QT. With that, Benny QT wants to make sure that Aurora will indeed look after Benny QT as they try to go for the purple buff. Again, that's crucial. A Hayabusa with a purple buff, 8 minutes in, 0-0. At this point, what can Demon Kite do?
On top of what can Demon Kai do, as an Aurora, let's ask the question, where do they find the clapback? Do they find it off of a massive Minoan Fury? Do they find it off of Edward extending the fight long enough while Yue takes Primal Wrath? Is that the case?
Okay. I think it's a really... I think it's a good setup from Renegade.
Right? Number checklist, right? Because when you're
good
down this
setup,
bad, you have to have a grocery list now of things to do.
Yeah, and maybe Yue gets his own glorious pathway as
We're having this
TLPH gets the
conversation.
Lord.
They're just, yeah, continue.
Okay, so the checklist, Renegade, good counter initiation.
1.
Yue ideally get the glorious pathway to counter out JP.
That, not the Primal Wrath.
Yeah, not the primal. For
2.
me, it's just to make sure Doming has enough space to free hit once he casts the entry.
Or peel, okay.
Yeah, for the peel.
3. As Liquid continues to ravage the map.
Edward disrupt the formation of TLPH with Infernal Pursuit.
And then Demon Kai clean up.
And then Demon Kite clean up.
And this is assuming that TLPH just lay down and take it.
Yeah, this is assuming that Sanford doesn't get the pick off or Sanji doesn't cast a good diversion play.
Folks, you have to understand why Ingen and I are, you know, counting down on the many things Aurora need to do, and the flummox tone in her voice. Because whoa, wait, Doming!
Oh, Doming, luckily he has the entropy. Able to escape that. He didn't pop his flicker, but they can still defend his first Lord.
Because it's uncharacteristic of Aurora. For a majority of the series, they were in control. Okay. But now they're struggling to fight back.
Okay, the Red J finally casts Minoan Fury, not gonna connect onto it. Once he has the glorious path, look at Sanford. He hits that with the Primal Wrath. Eventually, they're gonna burst down the Lord. No inhibitor turrets taken down yet, but this might change in the middle lane.
Successful defense, but Liquid aren't letting go. Mid lane inhibitor up next.
Renegade doesn't have his ultimate. Look at the damage! Minotaur can't out-sustain that as much as possible, so right now they have to play it safe. Doming pops his entropy there as TLPH works on the bottom lane turret.
But it seems to be in vain as Liquid refuse to go home. Relentless in their siege. They're staying here, applying pressure in mid. The Glorious Pathway by Daddy JP.
Glorious Pathway this time just to make sure they got to clean up draw to middle lane, but this time JP's gonna fall down. Demon Guy goes in there, we shadow because not gonna be
Benny!
Benny, on the other hand, goes on to Doming and brings him down. Edward is with a Infernal Pursuit. Eventually gonna bring down Carl Teasy, but Benny Kitty answers right back. A double kill for Benny.
3 for 2, but Aurora continues to defy the odds. I mean, as messy as that was and how many bodies lay underneath this inhibitor, the fact is the base is still standing. And the inhibitor is still standing. So one could argue that was a successful defense.
I don't know who has more persistence, TLPH for not going home in the entire time, or the mid lane base turret for not going down.
I'm counting down on this turret, by the way. This turret's days are numbered. Checking out the items, that's more than a 2,000 gold lead now on Benny Cutie. And of course, Carl TZ as well to Doming. That's where a good chunk of this 8k gold lead is, about 2k apiece.
Yeah, just look at how confident Benny is. All attack items, all damage items went literally beside the crystal just to catch Doming's entropy and eventually burst him down. So right now, Aurora, you still have an inhibitor in the middle lane, so that's good. You lost the one on the bottom lane, but that's where the Lord spawns, so you can manage.
Diversion.
Diversion play.
They take it!
They're gonna catch Renegade there. JP's got some Glorious Pathway, forcing Aurora to retreat. And it looks like TLPH has the higher ground here when it comes to the Lord pit.
Oh no, that's a lot of resources spent by Liquid. And Aurora is still ready, propped up. Oh, they're sending Doming back out. That's 45.
Yeah, but they know Doming is on top. And it's disadvantage here for Aurora as Carl TZ will secure another Lord.
Relatively low cost Lord. Liquid still in control, clearly in the driver's seat, and they're also in control of the music. And we're dancing to their tempo. Ingan, I could have sworn this turn was going to fall, but there it is, still standing.
Still standing. The perseverance of this inhibitor turret. You know, if Aurora eventually wins this or manages to win this, that inhibitor turret's the real MVP because no enhanced minions yet onto the middle lane. But right now, Aurora,
there is.
There is now. They have to worry about this Lord.
Look how big that siege minion was. It's almost as big as Hylos.
And that's a big problem Aurora has to worry about. Even the damage. JP just soaking it, doesn't even care. He still has his Revitalize though as they work on the top lane turret. Eventually he's gonna fall down and Lord marching in the bottom lane as Doming tries to burst it down. He has his entropy, he's gonna escape, but Benny Cutie catches him. Here comes the counter attack coming in from Renegade, forcing out the flickers. And Doming, Minnow and Fury coming in from Renegade, connecting on to Benny Guy goes in right after Benny Cutie, but is it gonna be enough though? Edward with Infernal Pursuit, eventually he's gonna fall down and has to call TZ. That's 2 members down. Doming doing his best to clear out the minions, but against 5 members of the cavalry, it might not be enough as we will go to a game number 5.
The Cavaliers go wild, and so does the MLBB universe. These are your M4 World Champions, your defending Season 13 champions, defying all odds and climbing up a mountain backwards.
What?
They take down Aurora, and they force us